GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Hey guys, I'm Felissa Rose Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to the All Bets Are Off with Robbie Vegas podcast.
What's up, rock soldiers, and welcome back to the All Bets Are Off podcast. And today we're bringing you our first spooky season episode. And when I say we, Chazz is back in the house.
Oh, that was like a werewolf.
Of London?
Sure. Don't stop with the Kid Rock. Always with the Kid Rock.
Kid Rock?
Because of that song that Adam likes. Oh. Shout out to Adam.
Shout out to Adam. Adam is actually part of the fan club. So, but today we are going to start breaking down, or we are breaking down.
We're going to finish.
Breaking down all the Friday the 13th movies. So I went to our social media and I asked people to participate, and I feel like I need to close the door because cars are flying by and I'm probably picking up on that.
That was a loud one.
Yeah, it was. Hang on. And we're back!
You better fix that window now.
I know. We're going to be breaking down all of the Friday the 13th movies today. Now, the plan was originally to just do the original 10, without Freddy vs. Jason or the remake, but I reached out on social media to people to see who wanted to participate, and we got 6 people to send in their rankings, and some of those people did include all 12, so we will talk about them, but we're going to focus on the 10.
Are we going to go in order? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I think we're going to start by just discussing each movie 1 through 10. Then we'll rank them the way that we like them. And then I'm going to read everybody else's rankings, and I'll tell you who they came from. And listeners, we've been talking about it for a few weeks. If you participate, we will shout you out on the show. So,
like Chris Jericho. Shout out to Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Every week. Every time. And shout out to Bruce Kulick for talking about Chris Jericho a lot last week.
That's his boy, man. They're in a band now.
I know. Quarantine with a K.
With a K, of course. It's gotta be.
Me and Chris almost had a falling out over Sebastian Bach, but I apologized to him at the end of the last episode, so we're back on track now. And he sent another basket, I sent another basket, and,
Much love to Les Champions.
Also, too, very cool, Chris Jericho, that you had Don Dokken on your show. Like, holy shit.
Great, yeah.
I'm just going to point that out because we're talking about horror movies today, and Dream Warriors, hello.
That's true. But I'll tell you what, Don Dokken's probably in his 60s now, and he sounds like an old lady.
Well, he did a lot of bad things.
I can't imagine. I haven't heard Don Dokken sing in a while.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he sounds like Don Dokken.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But just by the way he talks. Darling.
Well,
hi, Don Dokken.
We're not going to get into that until Don's on the show. So I'm just going to start following whoever Jericho interviewed and start interviewing them.
There you go. Just lie to him and be like, Jericho, I'm his best friend.
I will. We'll get into it. Here's what I did that I didn't tell you I was going to do in advance, but for every movie, I wrote down what the budget of the movie was and what the domestic gross was.
Okay.
So, box office.
And domestic means America.
Yes. Box office.
Okay.
So, I was going to do worldwide, but I don't know. A lot of that stuff was either hard to find or exactly the same.
And it seems like a horror, this kind of horror is red, white, and blue America.
Yeah.
It just seems like what it is. A lot of the Italian horrors are, are more thinkers and stuff like that.
Well, let me ask you this while we're just on the topic of horror in general. Is Friday the 13th your favorite of the big slashers?
Recently, yes. Okay. Now, it used to be the Halloween series.
Gotcha. And
the reason I always thought that, because who are the big four, we would say? It's Freddy, Jason, Michael,
Leatherface.
So that's your big four?
Yep.
Throw Chucky in there.
You could.
Okay.
Could throw Pinhead in there too, maybe.
Okay. I just say those 4, maybe 5, because plus they all have names. They're very similar. The reason I always liked Michael Myers more is because the dude literally has nothing special to him except he's just a crazy fucking person.
Gotcha.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
But I got more into the Friday the 13th stuff after the 2017 video game came out. On PlayStation 4. And I played the shit out of that game. I loved it. And I'd really only seen 1 or 2 of the movies at the time.
Yeah.
And friends I would play with just kept convincing me to watch them. So then I watched them all. And then I fell in love with them.
And now you have that cool-ass box set.
I got the box set that came with the lunch box.
Yes, right.
That's friggin' awesome. So I do, now this is my number 1.
See, for me, back in the Media Play days, I was collecting...
Shout out to Media Play.
Shout out to Media Play every week. No. Sponsor of the show, Media Play. Hopefully we can open them back up.
That'd be sweet.
So, back in those days, aside from all the albums we were buying, I was collecting the very first horror movies I was collecting were Nightmare on Elm Street. So, when I was younger, that was my go-to. And as I got older, it became Halloween. And then over the years, I was just like, Jason's just too cool. And like now, Jason is my guy. You know?
Jason is cool. He's just a really cool character. And like, I don't really think he's scary.
I could see why he's scary. And when I was younger, he was scary. And you can almost, it's kind of funny because he almost just kills bad kids. So It's like, is he the bad guy?
That's true. He's just like, I don't know if he's scary. Like, Freddy Krueger, that whole concept is frightening.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers is frightening because he's a human. And you know, it's just like, and then you can't really buy into the Chucky thing. Leatherface obviously could be frightening, but Jason is so, like, kind of unbelievable at the same time.
Yes and no. I think he's both.
But so is Freddy, right? But so is Freddy. Freddy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that concept is just creepy.
Yeah, right. And Jason, which we're going to get into, over the period of the 10 movies becomes kind of supernatural where he wasn't at first. When the series started, he was just a normal guy.
Well, that's because fucking Tommy Jarvis.
Well, yeah, we'll get there. We got a bone to pick. So, let's start at the first movie. Friday the 13th. And by the way, Jason wasn't in like 2.5 of these movies.
That's very true.
So let's just throw that out there too. For people who don't know.
I put little tags on each of these movies so I know which one is which, just so I don't
get confused.
and here's my tag on this one. Mom,
yes.
Okay, that's my tag on this one.
So the big thing with this movie is that the killer was actually Jason's mom. It was Mrs. Voorhees, which we know was one of the questions that got Drew Barrymore killed at the beginning of Scream, because she didn't know that.
Pamela Voorhees, I believe, right?
Yes, and she said, Drew Barrymore said in Scream, I saw that movie 20 fucking times, and that's when they told her it was a trick question. So this movie's budget was only $700,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Guess what it grossed? Domestically.
It had to be a big hit, so I'm going to go with... See, this is weird. So it's what? Wait, what's the year? 80?
This was 80.
80.
Yeah.
Okay, this is 80. Let's go with $20 million.
39.7.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, from a $700,000 budget.
Wow.
So, and that's box office. That's not VHS, DVD, to date, anything.
And I'm sure because it turned into like a tape cult
in
the 80s, right?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a big jump. And like, how, if you think about it, like this was probably supposed to be the only movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just going to be this movie, and like, they had to fucking work hard, man. And that's the big concept. Like, I'll go back to the video game because I'm the authority on the Friday the 13th video game. But so they have this thing where they had the first 9 Jason, like, rights. They were going for Jason X rights. And then something with the copyright got pulled, and then the original director and the original writer were fighting over the Jason rights.
Yeah.
And the director even said, like, you never created Jason Voorhees, you just created the name.
Right.
Because we took everything else. Because you only had Pamela, basically, and a kid dead in the water.
Right.
So we have all the rights to that. And that was their big fight. And it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But it kind of screwed up everything moving forward.
Right.
So, like, to think how that could have been the only thing of Jason ever was that little dirty kid coming out.
Yeah,
Like,
because it was supposed to be the only movie. It really was. And they tried to end the series many times, and it just kept resurfacing.
Because it's a cool movie. This movie, I always remember certain things about it, like, stick out in my head. Like, some of the shots, I thought they were shot well. Like, a lot with, like, that yellow, like, raincoat. You know, it was, like, always throughout. And the first-person view a lot with Jason, with, end quote, Jason, right?
Yeah, right.
That makes sense. And then, like, the fat girl that she kills in the beginning and stuff. And things like that. So, like, I thought it was a good movie. Like, looking back now, it's so old. And given the budget, They did a really good job, though.
Yeah,
for that.
Absolutely. I thought that the kills were interesting because, like you were saying, through the majority of the movie, you didn't see the killer. Yeah. You just saw, like, sometimes you didn't even see the kill.
And that's good, too.
Right, exactly.
Like, if you might be more of a fan of gore, but you don't need it, I feel, sometimes.
I agree. And this is what brings the whole story to life, because you find out why Mrs. Voorhees was the way she was, and you get the flashbacks of Jason drowning and things like that. So it sets the tone for everything that's to come. So I'm a fan of this one.
Yes.
I've seen this one a lot. This is one that if you catch on, you don't like, what? No, you sit down and you watch
Even though you know what's coming, and a thing that I also find funny in this movie, looking back, is Mrs. Voorhees is killing all these people brutally, right? End of the movie when you see her, and then you know, and she's fighting. Is Alice? Is that the girl's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's fighting Alice. She grabs her and starts slapping her like a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you think?
Yeah.
You know, it makes it a little non-believable at that
But
point.
was it her snapping? That's what I took it as. Like, she was freaking out, and she just started to snap.
Now, I haven't watched these in half a year, maybe, right? So I'm trying to throw things that stick out of my head, and this could be good. I know you recently rewatched them.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of certain kills that bring me from this movie, right? One of the kills I remember, this is the one with Kevin Bacon, right?
No, second one was Kevin
Bacon.
Bacon.
So the one that I remember in this one then is, it wasn't a kill, but when the dead body goes flying through the window and when she's in the kitchen making coffee.
And that becomes a staple of the series, is the body flying through the window. You see that in the first 5 movies or something. Like, maybe it's in all of them. I can't think off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure this is the Kevin Bacon one. But that scene I remember scared. There was the only scary part of that first movie.
Yeah,
that
was a jump scare.
That was a jump scare for real. But
for sure.
But other than that, though, I think this movie has a lot more of the psychological scaring. Like, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's coming. Yeah. It's not all jump scare.
And you don't know who the killer is. This is the first one. So, of course, everybody hears Friday the 13th and associates it with Jason, but when you actually sit down and watch it and you realize it's not, that's... Because
you don't even get any words about it until the end of the movie when you see Pamela.
Right,
so just going to see... How did it make that much money if you think about it? The story is kind of bullshit. We made it itself. We get lucky because we, like you said, we figured it's going to be Jason. So we're actually more surprised that it's not Jason. And I think most people would be more surprised.
Yeah.
That's
true. Going from there, part 2 happens, which wasn't supposed to happen. So this is where we find out that Jason, the little boy who supposedly drowned in the lake, was actually grown up to be a deformed man. And he's wearing a sack on his head where you can only see one eye.
I'm telling you, I Googled it. You, Mr. Don't Know Anything About Horror Movies, you're right. Because it was that first one. Because remember, they were putting together the camp? That was the whole point? They were getting the camp ready to open.
You're right. Yeah. Yep, you are right.
Yeah,
that's the first one.
So that is one of the kills when it goes through the neck.
So Mrs. Voorhees did that.
Voorhees. I know, they get confusing. That's why I want to... I'm trying to point out the memorable kills that I remember. Is that my favorite? Is that your favorite kill of the series? It's not mine.
I don't think it's my favorite kill of the series, but I love it. And I like the way that they did it because it looked really good.
It did look really good. It looked really good. So, sorry to cut that up. I just wanted to be clear on that.
Right.
Where we were. So
I'm glad that you did.
Yeah, so that is one of my favorite kills in the whole series.
But the second one is when we get introduced to Jason as a killer for the first time.
Yes.
We see little boy Jason at the end of the first one, but that was... I believe they left that up to interpretation. Was it a dream sequence? Did it actually happen?
Right.
Like all that stuff.
Right. Well, if you think about it, he's a little boy. He pulls Alice in. She wakes up in the hospital. Then the next year, he's a grown-ass man.
Right.
So, what the fuck's going on? Oh, we didn't say what happened at the end of the first one, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So, go ahead. You take it.
Well, Survivor girl Alice.
Yes. Final girl
Alice. Cuts the bitch's heads off. Mm-hmm. Cuts that bitch's head right off with a machete.
Yes.
Head. And allegedly Jason saw it.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So that's what fueled this motherfucker to, kill teen sex fiends.
Who smoke pot.
Who smoke pot and have unmarital sex.
Yes. So the second one, Alice gets killed immediately. And now we have a new final girl with Ginny.
Wasn't somebody's head in the fridge? When she opened the fridge. Was it Mrs. Voorhees' head in the fridge?
Yeah.
I think it was. And then, okay. See, we're going off the top of our head. Anyway, sorry.
This one is really good. The budget increases, obviously, because the first one was such a success. So Part 2's budget was actually $1 million. But domestic gross was actually less than the first one. It grossed $21.7 million.
Still
It's
Still
a lot.
big number.
That's a huge
And that's
jump
1981 numbers.
Right.
That's 1981.
So the budget being $1 million and jumping to almost $30 million in box office is pretty huge.
Yes.
So the franchise is off to a pretty good start.
That's right.
And again, I don't think they realized they were going to go past the second one.
And they tried to change it up a little bit, like it was a different area.
Yes.
You know, it was still off of Camp Crystal Lake, but it was the counselor training grounds, right?
Right. So the cool thing about this one, or maybe it's awkward, or however you want to look at it, but the ending, when Ginny actually defeats Jason, it's because she pretends to be Mrs. Voorhees.
Do people not like that? I think that's smart.
I do too.
Because she's a child psychologist.
It's interesting because she puts the sweater on.
Yeah.
She makes sure the head is behind her, but of course then Jason sees the head.
Yeah.
And
I mean, she's the child psychologist,
Yeah.
and like she gets it, and she knows how to do it. I thought it was actually well thought out.
what do you think the memorable kill was from this one?
I got two of them for you.
I know what one of them is because I'm thinking it too.
Does the one you're thinking of remind you of Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yes.
Okay. I remember the one. This is the first Jason movie that involves the female breasts, by the way, because I don't think there's any in the first one. Maybe there was.
There might
have been. But wasn't she like hanging, or the guy was hanging upside down?
Oh.
What was it?
It was, I think we're thinking of the third one.
No, this one, the girl that had the dog. She gets naked.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right, and doesn't she, like, somehow die?
We're getting our kills mixed up
We
now.
are getting it. But that's the whole thing with this movie. There's so many memorable ones.
I think the first few movies bleed together for me because I've seen them the most.
Yes.
So, like, later on, it's easier to,
But either way, that's not my favorite kill. Obviously, the best kill
is the wheelchair.
And it's unfortunate. Poor guy with the machete in his head.
Yeah.
Going down the stairs in a wheelchair.
Yeah. He couldn't do anything about it. He's in a wheelchair, and he just gets the machete in the face, and then just rolls backwards down the biggest flight of concrete stairs.
Stays seated.
Stays seated
the whole time. So that's the one that sticks out the most. And it looked pretty good. It was a little corny looking, but not horribly. So that's the one that sticks out. And then, actually, you say Jenny's the survivor.
Ginny
is her survivor, but is she?
I mean...
What happens at the end of the movie?
No, she is, because she's... Well, I guess technically she's...
Creepy Jason with the sack off barges through the window and grabs her. And that's the end of the movie. So we don't know. And how creepy does Jason look?
Yeah, oh my God.
He looks fucked up.
Yeah.
That
might have been one of the best versions of him without the mask or sack or whatever.
Right, it's definitely the best.
It changes in every movie.
We didn't even really talk about the sack. He's sitting there with a potato sack on his head.
Right.
I mean, that's what I think it is.
Yeah, and you can only see the one eye.
The one eye, because, and at the end, he gets it off, and that's when he busts through the window, and that's super memorable. And I think that's what sticks with me. But it's got a lot of tropes in that movie. She can't start the car in the rain.
Yeah.
She can't do that. Is that the movie, too, where he kills the people having sex while they're having sex for the first time?
That's happened in a few.
Yeah, that is very true. They do all stick together.
They do. But, I mean, this is, to me anyways, part 3, or part 3D, was the one where it started to differentiate a little bit. Like, now I'm starting to remember, like, the certain kills.
I can see that. Because the first two... And a lot of the people in the first two aren't as memorable, I think.
Right, exactly.
Honestly, like a lot of the characters, like, we fucked up Kevin Bacon.
Right.
Let me rephrase it. You fucked up Kevin Bacon.
Well, think about this, is in the 80s, one of the more popular things they were trying to do was movies in 3D, especially if it was the third movie, like Jaws 3D.
Right.
And
in the early 2010s.
Yeah, true. Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D comes out, and now we're looking at a budget of $4 million.
That's up.
And from there... The gross is $36.7 million.
So that went up.
So it went up. So this is the first movie where Jason puts on the hockey mask.
Yes.
So to me, this gets props just for being iconic in that way.
Well, my first note for the first movie was Mom.
Yes.
My note from the second movie was Sack.
Right.
Okay, makes sense. My note for this third movie, Shelley.
Of course, because Shelley is the reason why Jason got the mask.
Annoying as fuck.
Yep. He was always pranking everyone with stupid shit.
Yep, stupid shit. He's the kind of guy you did want to die.
Yeah,
you did want to die.
Right.
You didn't want anyone else to die. But
and
Shelley,
he died.
Shelley could die.
Yeah, right. And it had a lot of cool stuff. Have you ever watched it in 3D?
I never watched it in 3D.
So it had a lot of cool moments.
I could see where
they would be, right? So like
he's playing with a fucking yo-yo.
Yeah, the yo-yo,
stupid shit like
the
that.
baseball bat.
Yeah.
The arrow that went through Vera's eye.
The harpoon.
Harpoon,
thing.
yeah.
Definitely.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes the movie bad watch. Though.
No.
It's not like it doesn't overblow it or anything. You could definitely watch it without the 3D.
And Jason in that movie did a great job, I thought. So
this is the first masked Jason.
Yes.
And he gets it halfway through the movie because Shelley's dumbass. So Shelley's dumbass comes out of the water wearing the mask, scares one of the chicks.
Yes.
And then Jason kills him and takes the mask.
Yes.
And then kills the chick.
Right.
Thanks, Shelley.
With the harpoon.
Thanks, Shelley.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Great. Now we got this hockey mask killer running around for another 30 years.
Awesome job,
yeah.
Shelley. Thanks.
And this was also that scene where the bikers come after Shelley in the convenient store and make fun of him for having the rubber in his wallet.
Yep. The bikers are good characters. I like them. And then they came back and tried to kill Jason at the end.
Yeah.
And then allegedly Jason's dead. Well, no, he's not dead, but allegedly he's dead in this movie.
Right. Because, again, I don't think this movie was supposed to go past part 3.
Right.
And so they were thinking of a way, all right, he has to die this time, so he gets the machete in the head. But if...
Didn't they hang him up, too?
Yes.
Yeah, they hung him up, too.
I don't know. In this movie, though, Jason was really cool. The kills were cool. And I think they were all memorable kills.
Well, this started giving Jason a weird backstory.
Yes.
With, you're better with the names. So who's the final girl of this one? Blanking on
Chris.
Chris. Started giving that weird backstory about the man in the woods when she was a little kid, right?
And what I didn't understand about that, which I had this conversation with Micah today, and he's the one of the hosts of Damn That Scary podcast, is she made it sound like, vaguely made it sound like she was raped by Jason.
Right. In the woods, but Jason lives in water.
Right.
Like, it's starting to get fucked up.
And why didn't he kill her? Because we know,
he kills everybody.
Right.
And especially because she had sex then.
Right.
And why is Jason raping somebody?
Right. But they never actually said that he raped her. True. All she said was that he grabbed her by her ankles and dragged her backwards, and then she woke up.
True.
So it's implied that something happened to her, but we don't know what. But she also spazzes out through the whole movie at random things because she has some kind of PTSD.
True.
So that was a little weird, kind of a weird plot hole because it wasn't really filled in. But
and it never was addressed.
No.
Ever again.
Ever again. So I don't see Jason as a rapist.
I don't think he could. He's a big child.
Yeah.
Like, if Jason was he's a big... Like, Jason would be... Like, I don't know, of Mice and Men, Lenny?
Right, yeah.
Right? That would be Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big, lumbering child, kind of, right? That's who he would be, because he never grew up. He saw his mom get her head cut off, even though he was 30, allegedly. Who the fuck knows? Yeah. It's confusing.
But at this point, too, part 2 had already happened, so he'd already been a murderer. So why didn't he murder her, if that was Jason she saw in the woods? The other concept that I had is, what if it wasn't Jason?
True.
She was just attacked by some random, weird-looking dude in the woods.
There's a lot of them.
Right. I mean,
I've watched Duck Dynasty.
But think about that. If it was just some random person that left her with some PTSD, now she's going through this thing with Jason. I don't know. They don't really explain it.
This movie, I do like this movie to an extent. This is probably, when it comes to the Jason movies I was saying, when it comes to my rankings, there's 7 I like, 2 that are meh on, and 1 that I hated. And this is the bottom of the ones I like.
Gotcha.
But it has my favorite kill in the whole series.
Which one?
Tell
me it's the guy in his hands.
The Kona Crush.
Oh, when he's and the eye pops out, which was a great 3D scene.
When he squeezes his head and he gets the eyes pop out. Kind of looks bad going back, but it's such a cool concept.
Yeah.
And it was executed fairly well.
It was.
For the time. So that's my favorite kill, maybe. It's probably my favorite kill, but there's a close second.
Another brutal kill from the third one is when the dude was walking on his hands and Jason basically chops him from the dick to down on him.
Yep.
And that was pretty brutal.
Yep. So it had a few memorable moments in it, but like I said, it's not one of my favorites from the whole list.
Okay.
And I'm glad they kept going.
Yeah.
Because if this was the end, it would have had a sour ending.
Well, I'll tell you this then, because we're going to talk about the fourth one now, which was called The Final Chapter, because they were trying to put this to rest. It was supposed to be the end.
Yes.
So this was in 1984, and had a budget of $1.8 million, so not as much as the third, probably because it wasn't in 3D. It grossed $32.9 million. So this franchise is making bank because they're going well over what they're spending here.
Well, my tagline on this one was Feldman.
Yes. So we see young Corey Feldman trying to...
Really young.
Yeah, and he's trying to watch the girls across the way get undressed and have
so
sex.
Goofy.
Yeah,
he's so goofy. But he makes this movie, I think.
Yeah, he does.
It also has McFly.
Yes, Crispin Glover is excellent.
Yes,
excellent in this movie, and this was pre Back to the Future.
Yes, it was.
So he wasn't McFly yet.
No, he was not McFly. But you see him, and you're like,
yeah. And then he says, he's worried about being a dead fuck.
Yep.
And,
and
he does that weird dance to some heavy music.
Oh, they got the heavy metal music? Oh, my goodness.
And they turn it off and he gets mad. Why did you change that?
Yeah, him and Feldman make this movie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think, it's the most memorable movie when it comes to it.
I really like this one.
Yeah.
I have fun with all of these movies. Some of them are a little ridiculous, and I can admit that, but I have fun with all of them.
Another shower kill in this movie.
Another shower kill. And that was a good shower kill.
Yep. And he crucifies, I believe, nearly Crispin Glover. Doesn't he? He's got the corkscrew through his hands
when he pins him to the door after he kills him.
Yeah, or something like that. He crucifies him basically, and the girl can't get out because he's
got to rip the body
What
down.
an amazing part of that movie.
And there was the twins that he killed, the female twins.
The female twins that he killed.
Crispin Glover got laid.
Yes, he did.
And then asked her if he was a dead fuck.
Congratulations, Crispin Glover. Congratulations, McFly.
I heard that he's a very strange
he's a dead
bird.
fuck?
No. I didn't hear that. I also didn't ask. Don't ask, don't tell. But I think... I don't know. Jason was just really badass in this movie.
He's very badass in this movie.
Who was the kid who got killed while he was watching the old porn on the
He
reels?
was the annoying guy?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Ted,
absolutely
yeah.
Ted. But he kind of isn't right. He's memorable in the movie, too.
He is.
Shelley is annoying.
Yeah.
And Ted's annoying, but in a heartfelt way at the same time. And he's watching the old porn, like you said.
It was on a reel.
Yeah, it was on a reel to reel. So, Ted was a character that I did kind of want to see die on. It's everyone's going to die.
Yeah. I was more interested to see how Ted was going to die.
Yes.
And I actually heard recently that Ted... I can't remember the actor's name, so we're just going to keep calling him Ted. And Crispin Glover, their best friend thing that they were doing was a lot of ad-lib. They were just making it up as they went, and people were just feeding off of that. So I thought that was really cool.
Well, Crispin Glover's a good actor.
Yeah.
And he's always surrounding controversy over Back to the Future.
I know.
Because he never went...
He never went back to...
And then he sued them because they used his likeness.
Right.
So it's interesting. Yeah. But I can't actually think of another movie with him in it.
Beowulf.
Okay.
He was in Beowulf.
I did not see that. But
yeah.
So this, I mean, this is the ending, I think, of known actors for me. No, that's not true. Weekend at Bernie's is in one of them. Bernie is. But so other than that, I forgot about that. Coming up, Weekend at Bernie's. So this is absolutely, I think, one of the best movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we got to talk about the ending.
Yes. So actually, I'm going to let you take this one because I feel like I've been rambling.
The ending is so memorable in this movie, and what it sets up for the rest of the franchise too, and never answers the questions too. So the ending of the movie, Tommy Jarvis, which is Corey Feldman. Honestly, he's probably about 10.
11.
Well, yeah, he's little.
Yeah,
kid.
he was a little kid.
He's definitely a little kid. This is before the Goonies, I believe.
I think so.
So it's he's super little kid.
And he became synonymous with horror, Corey Feldman.
Oh, he's definitely before the Goonies, because the Goonies, he's 13, 14. He's a real little kid with, nice bowl cut.
Right.
So
trying to see some boobies.
And acting like a complete tool, and it's funny. It's that's what you would do. He was acting good.
Yes.
But okay, so Jason is about to kill him and his sister.
Yes.
Killed his mother, allegedly killed his dog. You never see that stuff. Yeah. Killed all the teenagers.
You never see the mom die. Yeah. The shower scene was awesome where he kills the dude, smashed his face.
Killed all the teenagers next door.
Yep.
So now Jason's coming for that final girl.
Yes.
And little Corey Feldman.
It was his sister.
And Corey Feldman's reading all the... Yeah, sorry. Yep. Corey Feldman was reading while we forgot about Rob.
Yeah.
Rob, the Jason hunter.
Yeah, he was after him for...
Rob was a Jason hunter who...
He was looking for his sister.
He was looking for his sister, which was in the remake, kind of. I just remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rob had all these articles about Jason. Corey was reading them. Saw a sketch about Jason. Corey wants to freak Jason out, kind of like the second movie. Shaves his head, gets this crazy look in his eye, and starts acting like he's Jason.
Yes.
And Corey Feldman, little 10-year-old ass, legitimately kills Jason Voorhees with a machete to the head.
Yes, and that was a cool scene.
Through the mask.
Yeah.
Then he fucking slides
Knocks the mask
down.
off, yep.
And then when the thing is stuck in his head, the machete's stuck in his head, and it hits the ground, and he slides down the machete.
Yeah.
What a great...
Basically, like, saws his head in half.
What a great, memorable moment.
And then Feldman starts whacking him.
Beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And then his sister makes him stop.
Right.
And I mean, Corey's losing his mind. Gives him a hug, and he gives that look in the camera like he's changed person.
And that was supposed to be the end. Tommy Jarvis kills Jason. The final chapter. It's over.
Was it? Because then they put that little look in at the end.
Right. But maybe it was open-ended, maybe it wasn't. But then, so that's a good segue into number 5, because number 5 is called A New Beginning. Mm-hmm. Because they were going to take this in a different route, because they didn't want to keep making the same movie over and over again. So how are they going to do that?
That makes sense.
Right. So A New Beginning comes along, and first of all, this one is very underrated, I think. I think it gets a bad rap. I think a lot of people hate it, whatever. And I understand to a point, but at the same time, this has very gruesome kills. It has memorable kills. I think this movie, out of all of them, might have the most nudity. Like, this movie is just a raunchy, bloody, nasty movie.
This is one of the ones I'm mad on. Okay, and honestly, first watch, when I was trying to watch them all, I got to this one. I loved the first 4. I loved 4. And then halfway through this, I stopped watching.
I liked the concept because it was almost like a halfway house for shitty teenagers.
Yes.
Like, they didn't know how to fucking behave, so they were being, like, taught how to be members of society. And the movie starts with one kid hacking another kid with an axe.
Who looks like Shelley. He does look like Shelley.
And kills him.
Yep.
The ambulance comes. They take the kid away. Now people are getting killed by Jason. So this movie came out in 85. And the budget was $2.2 million.
It's high. Is that the highest one? I think so, right?
No. The highest one so far was Part 3 with $4 million.
Oh, the 3D.
Yeah, the 3D. So $2.2 million for Part 5, and it grossed domestically $21.9 million. So
it's a little bit low.
It's a little bit lower
for where
than,
they were
than the last few.
And it makes sense because, like...
You tell people it's going to be the last one, and then...
Yeah. And because, I don't know, I never hear anyone talking glowingly about this. Okay, so, like I was saying, I couldn't make it through that first time.
Okay.
And then I rewatched it again, and I was having hard trouble. But it feels like once you get past the halfway point of the movie, it gets better.
It does.
So it took a while to get going, though. So now Tommy Jarvis is 20?
Yeah,
25?
I think he's supposed to be younger than that. I don't know.
Really? He's like a late teenager? I think.
Or maybe 20, 21, somewhere around
so
there.
he's, you know.
So it's the role that Corey Feldman's character played grown up.
But he starts the movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
With the dream sequence.
Yes.
But he was a big fucking star.
So
he couldn't play the role anymore.
But through this, I mean, Tommy Jarvis keeps having, like, visions and flashes of Jason.
Yes.
And they kind of make you feel like he's killing people, but thinking that Jason's killing people, like he's not present when he's doing it.
Well, you're right. And you do think that the whole movie, and some of the times, like, he just freaks out and he beats up, like, his whatever he's in, people with him, the kids with him. So it does make you feel that way.
Yeah.
And it has a few memorable kills.
Yes. What was your favorite? I could think of 2.
The kid with the machete or with the axe in the beginning.
Yeah, that was pretty memorable. Yeah.
And then the punk guy in the toilet on the porta potty. That's a pretty memorable one. Jason's putting the machete or something through
when he's singing, "Ooh, baby,
ooh, baby." That's also the guy that played Joanna Man.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. What was his name?
So that was a memorable kill for me. Now,
and this was with Reggie the Reckless.
Oh, the little kid.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
So. The memorable kill...
He doesn't die.
He does not. But what about the memorable kills in the woods? There was the 2 kids who just got done having sex, and the guy literally just jumps up and leaves her there naked, and he's like, I'm going to go wash up. And she's laying in the middle of the woods, and Jason just takes the shears and jams them into her eyes.
That is very true.
And that was pretty brutal.
That is very true.
Fun fact, her legit shoot last name is Voorhees.
Get out.
That's Deborah Voorhees.
That's us.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons she got cast for that.
That is us. That's cool.
And then that guy... He got killed with the belt.
Yo, the belt, yeah.
To the tree.
That was a good one.
Around the eyes.
Yep, that was a cool one, too. That is right. I forgot about that one. Now, the thing we need to talk, though, obviously, we haven't even mentioned it yet, is that this isn't Jason.
Right, and that's what I was going to get to, is that Jason had a different mask when it was the actual killer. Yes. So whenever Tommy Jarvis would have his flashes, it was Jason, and it was the red on the masks with those triangles are red. When it was the actual killer, they were blue. And that's how you start to differentiate what was real and what was fake in the movie.
Great directing.
Yeah, but Jason wasn't actually the killer because, as far as we know, Jason died in the final chapter in Part 4. The killer was Roy.
Roy!
The ambulance driver.
Who? Who?
Because the kid who got hacked to pieces in the beginning of the movie was Roy's son, Joey.
Oh.
So Roy goes on a killing spree as Jason. Do you want to talk about how Jason got killed? Or, I'm sorry, how Roy got killed in there?
That kind of ruins the movie for me, what you just said. Like,
That was
everything.
Roy?
It's just a dumb... I mean, I get it, I guess. Do you like this concept better or how 9 went?
Oh, we're going to get there.
Okay. Okay.
But think about this, though.
I can't even remember how they killed. I know he fell. What did he fall on? Spikes.
It was spikes,
Why
yeah.
was there spikes outside of a barn?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
He fell. They kicked him or hit him out of the barn, top of the barn, and fell on spikes.
This isn't going to be the last time we talk about this either, because when I read through the lists that were sent to us after we do ours, there was a good point brought up about this that I'll bring up later from Micah from the Damn That Scary podcast. So we'll get to that. But so that ruined it for you was Jason not being Jason.
I just thought this movie was a drag for most of it. Got better, and then the ending was like they didn't. There was something about like the reveal or something I didn't like. Like you see Roy die,
Yeah.
You see the mask off,
Yes.
Then it's got some kind of like fake skin over his head,
Yes.
and you see his face, but there's no explanation. Like you barely ever knew the fucking guy's name was Roy, and then at the end it's just like they mentioned like what you said,
Right.
Oh, it was his son.
Gotcha.
Like that was it. Like it
Okay.
was. It's so to me the reveal wasn't that. Like maybe I'm just preconditioned from Scooby-Doo movies and want the mask to be ripped off and be like, Roy, the ambulance driver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or something like
Scooby-Doo.
that. It was just, yeah, it was just kind of like, at that point, it was like...
And I would have got away with it, too.
At that point, that was a letdown. I don't know. I guess I'm mad on this movie. Not one of my favorites. You say it's highly underrated. I don't know. I must be in the majority then, because I don't think it's like...
No, you are in the majority. A lot of people don't like this one. A lot of people don't like this one. That kind of brings me to Part 6, which is Jason Lives, because now they go back and they bring Jason back. So Jason's been dead since Part 4.
What do you mean, they?
Yeah, we're going to get there.
One bastard.
So this is in 1986. So this movie, the budget was $3 million.
Great year.
Why?
Great year. That's when I met Chris Jericho.
Gotcha.
Here's to you, Jericho.
Did you grab me one?
No, I'll get you one.
Check this out, though. So this movie grossed domestically $19.4 million. Thank you. This is the lowest we've seen so far. Yeah.
19.4.
Yeah. And so shout out to Jason in this one because it was CJ Graham and he's an alumni of the All Bets Are Off.
Alumni of All Bets Are Off podcast, CJ Graham.
Thank you, CJ Graham, for talking to us all about this movie.
Yeah, and I just wish he had a better time with the recording on that one.
Yeah.
He was having a rough time.
He was.
But good guy. Like we actually met him.
Yes, we did.
So
and he was super friendly.
Super friendly, too, especially to your son. For us, he's like, yeah, whatever. What's up, 9-year-old? You know, he was super cool. He was super cool with your son.
Which was awesome, and my son was in heaven that he was talking to Jason, and he has a Jason mask and a Jason collectible standing on his shelf in his bedroom right now.
You're ruining this kid.
Yeah, I know. Well, thanks, Graham. She started it. You know, he was awesome, and honestly, I think this movie was the most badass Jason would be up to this point.
I like this movie a lot.
Me too.
This was the first time. Okay, so we never really got into it. Tommy Jarvis.
Yes.
Now a different actor.
Yes.
And now he's older.
Yes.
But
A little bit.
I guess, yeah. It's hard to say. He's probably 24 here.
Right.
Let's be safe.
Yeah.
24.
Everybody in these movies was cast to be young. So.
Yeah. He wants to dig up Jason. And you know, make sure he's dead because obviously he was dead.
Yeah.
And he was dead.
And he's still having these mental
Yes.
issues, which is why he wants to make sure Jason's
So he digs him up, Grave Robbins USA style.
Yeah.
Shout out to Murder Bell. Shout out to Wednesday 13. I got it. Sorry. So he digs him up, opens the casket. Guess what? Jason's in there.
Dead. Yeah.
So he decides to make sure and stabs him through the heart with a giant metal post.
A bunch of times.
During
a thunderstorm.
But then left it there.
Yes.
Not the smartest idea. Why is that, Robbie?
Because now we got a Frankenstein moment. Lightning hits the metal post. Now Jason, for the first time in this series, is becoming supernatural.
Yes.
And he was very badass in this movie. He really was. And CJ Graham did a great job.
He did.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
And still a big dude.
Yes.
And and now running casinos, whatever. So he comes back, and Alice Cooper's the soundtrack for Jason coming back. He's back, the man behind the mask.
He is.
And I think that this movie was fucking awesome.
I like this movie a lot. And it was an interesting way. Like you said, it's a Frankenstein way to...
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
And it's kind of a shout-out to, like, horror.
Yeah.
Like we're going to take a little of this from Frankenstein.
And with the fact that it was Tommy that did it, like, it gave you, like, that through line.
Yeah.
You know,
the story finds a way to continue no matter who's directing it, who's playing Jason, or what
but it's
curve they're trying to
always not
take.
the same. You had your first 3 movies. Then you had the Tommy Jarvis trilogy in the middle, right? And then after that, it's on to the next.
There's some ridiculous things that start happening.
After the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, it gets a little out of hand. But I thought C.J. Graham was awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
And he gave Jason, actually, from out of the first, what do we have, 6? So out of the first 6, personality.
Yes.
Without talking or anything.
Yes.
He really did. And he started a lot of these, end quote, Jason tropes.
Yeah.
But it was because of him.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the vivid memories I have for this movie with C.J. Graham is him walking after he's alive, and he was either just about to kill the people stuck in the mud or just killed them. Mm-hmm. And he just, like, looks in the camera and tilts his head.
Yeah.
And it was just like, Jason never did that kind of thing. And it kind of, like, gave him this personality. And this movie's really fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's a wild ride.
And he was cast as Jason by accident. The story that he told when he was on the podcast was that they put him in the outfit for just some quick outtakes to see how this would look or that would look, and then somebody was like, hey, this guy's pretty fucking good. Yeah. Why don't we just keep him?
Yeah.
And that's how he got the role.
Gave him a great personality, but the movie overall, like, I thought Tommy Jarvis's character was so different from the last one, but whatever, he grew up, right?
Right.
He's wild. They're car chases and cop chases. Like, it's a wild ride. It's a total 80s movie.
Yeah.
And it's the middle of the 80s, and it's a total 80s movie, but the daughter, the police chief's daughter, like, it's so... And there's, like, dire moments where literally Jason might be killing a bunch of children.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and that's scary.
It is scary.
And they have these kids scared to death, hiding, like, under their beds. Like, you don't see that too much.
Yeah, that's true.
And all the time of all these Jason, like, camp movies, like, you're going to camp, it's all about the counselors.
Yep.
You never see the children.
Yep.
So it's definitely interesting to have that in there. This movie's fun, though. It's like an 80s action movie with Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
absolutely.
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't think it is either.
For its time.
And I never did. This was always one of my favorite Jason movies.
I mean, it's hokey at points, and I think they realize that.
Yeah.
And they're okay with it. They don't try to cover it up at points.
Also, too, I want to point out that there was a second Alice Cooper song that isn't talked about as much that was part of this movie, which was Teenage Frankenstein.
Uh-huh.
So,
good song.
Again, throwback to Frankenstein, maybe, because that's how Jason, came about. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember what it was.
But thanks to Tommy Jarvis, now all mayhem ensues.
Right, because
he couldn't leave him be.
Jason's not just...
He's dead.
He's not a deformed man anymore. Now he's supernatural.
Yeah, he was dead, Tommy. He was dead.
Well, he gets killed again.
Well, how does he get killed again? Listen to this brilliant move.
You take this one. I'm gonna start setting us up for number 7.
So Jason, or Tommy, and whatever the girl's name is ready to. Tommy's got.
I think her name's Megan.
Okay, I think. Remember. But this is memorable. Any memorable kills in this one? I think the Jason kill.
Yeah,
is the memorable one. Honestly, I think it is. This is how he kills him, and it's crazy. And if I'm wrong, fill it in. But this is how I remember it. He went to the hardware store. Bought fucking tools.
Yeah.
And basically chained Jason to a boulder?
Yeah.
A rock?
Yeah.
And drowned him in the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of work.
In his mind, Jason
went home.
Drowned.
Right home, yeah.
Okay, we're going to kill him the only way that he can possibly be killed.
True. I mean, and great death scene by C.J. Graham on that one.
Yeah.
He sells it well.
He does.
It's just a lot of work to kill Jason that way.
Yes.
But it worked. Tommy's 2 for 2.
Imagine.
Tommy is 2 for 2. Okay?
Imagine having the, confidence to be like, I'm going to wrap this chain around this massive killer. I just got to get real close to him, but this is going to work.
Yeah, and just let him hug me, and then it's on. And, but then again, who are you to say? Tommy's 2 for 2. Actually, he's 2.5 for 2.5 because he killed Roy too.
Okay,
right? So he's 2.5 for 2.5. Right. Don't fuck with Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah. I mean, if they would have just stuck with him.
With his Canadian tuxedo, I mean, he wasn't playing around. And he killed him. And this Tommy Jarvis is also immortalized in the new video game because the character of Tommy Jarvis is this Tommy Jarvis. With his Canadian tuxedo and all. So
that was the start of supernatural things happening in these movies. Which brings us to part 7, The New Blood.
The New Blood.
Where we're going to see... Well, first, the introduction to Kane Hodder, who arguably is the most popular Jason.
There's no argument.
And fans love this guy.
Yeah,
and
you can't.
I love this guy.
You can't say arguably.
And have you watched his documentary?
No, but you told me it's great.
It's insane, and what a life this guy had. And he's legitimately a burn victim from being a stuntman.
Right.
A stunt gone wrong.
So he's been Jason 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
Remake.
No.
He wasn't remake?
No, that was Derek, was it Mears?
Oh, no, Freddy vs. Jason. I'm sorry.
He wasn't that either.
I thought he was.
No, he was supposed to be, and they snaked it out from under him. A lot of fans were very upset about that. Yeah.
But he's also the mocap in the video game. They used him for all the... Because there is special kills in the video game.
Well, he's also another iconic horror killer slasher, Victor Crowley, in all 4 of the Hatchet movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
big dude, too.
Yeah, and he's done a lot. He really has. But this is his introduction to Jason, and he kind of became the spokesperson for Jason, which I thought was awesome. So,
yeah, easily.
But this movie has...
he's the biggest star of the series.
Oh, for sure.
And I think, well, because Kevin Bacon doesn't count. But let's just I think the 2 biggest stars of the series are him and Corey Feldman. And even though Corey Feldman is the bigger star, not in Friday the 13th marks. You know? So, Friday the 13th marks. I like that.
Yeah, we're gonna roll with that. This one is memorable for the fire starter.
The Prodigy song?
Yeah. Yes.
The Gene Simmons cover.
So we got some crazy supernatural things happening in this movie with a little girl who can have things burst into flames.
True. And it has Weekend at Bernie's, Bernie Lomax.
Yes.
That's her. Now that's her therapist. Now she starts as a little girl, then she's 20-something.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. She grows up.
Never know if they're 20-something or teenage.
And this was in 88, by the way. And before you go on, I'm going to tell you now that Part 7's budget was $3.5 million. And again, one of the lower on the grossing side in box office, $19.1 million. I mean, they're still making hand over fist what they spent.
Right.
But as far as what we were saying at first...
Well, you got to think, too. Something we didn't discuss is those first few movies, there was a void in the market. And then come 84, 85, 86. Hi, my name is Freddy Krueger. Hi, my name is Pinhead, right?
Well, Freddy was around early on, too. And
but not
so was
80.
Michael.
I'm saying Michael was around. But, you had 80, 81, 86.
Yeah. But now...
Then it starts. Then you start getting the Chuckies and Candyman.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, I think, was the true birth of the slasher. I think they spawned...
The Halloween people are going to slit your throat.
I know. Because Michael technically came first.
Sure.
But I think that... I don't know. When you think of...
It's like our talk about nu metal.
Right.
So Halloween is the first Korn album, right?
Right.
The first Halloween's a lot better than the first Korn album.
Right.
So I don't mean to put that on the Halloween. But didn't really get going until Jason, right? That's that. And I agree. I can agree with that.
And a lot of the layout and the way that those movies go came from Friday the 13th and the way that those movies go.
So I can agree with that, too.
But I'll let you continue with 7.
Do you like this movie? I like this movie.
I like them all, but yes, I like this movie. I
think it's wild.
It is. It's interesting because I don't know. It's just something that you wouldn't think you would see.
It's wild in a sense. Like I said, the last movie was wild, but that was more like a fun wild.
Yeah.
Right? Even though Jason was going to kill kids. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that part wasn't fun. But this one is just you never... So I guess the through line of the story is, I thought Jason died.
Right.
What happened? What happened? What had happened? Do you even remember?
I don't, actually, off the top of my head now.
2 teenage somethings, maybe 20-somethings, are having sex on a boat. And the boat's anchor trips an underground electricity wire and breaks his chain somehow, and electrocutes Jason back to life. Yeah. And for their troubles, guess what happens?
They die. And all they did was have sex and resurrect Jason.
Yes.
He should have at least been like, thanks.
Thank you.
And just let him be.
Give him an old slap on the ass there. I actually slapped his ass.
You did.
I slapped your thigh like the Young Bucks. Either way. Moving on. So Jason's alive now thanks to people having sex.
Right.
So the whole byline in this movie is the girl...
The fire starter.
I'm bad at this. The girl learning and trying to control her powers.
Her name was Tina, I think.
Tina.
Am I thinking that right?
I think it's Tina.
Okay.
So she's trying to learn about her powers. Now, if I remember correctly, her Weekend at Bernie's doctor doesn't believe she has these powers.
Yeah.
Right? Well, she somehow caused her father to die when she was younger.
Right.
In the lake.
Right.
That lake kills a lot of people. Don't
I like your hat, by the way. Camp Crystal Lake.
I came prepared. So anyway, these aren't reviews. We're just giving our memories and opinions. You're here for the rankings anyway.
Yeah, right.
But I like this movie because as she's learning how to harness her powers, she realized that she might be able to use it against Jason.
Right.
After Jason starts terrorizing people.
And she does. That's how she kills him.
And, spoiler alert, Jesus.
Sorry.
And you're wrong.
She kills him with that.
Okay, wait.
Oh, okay.
Wait
Sorry.
for it.
All right.
Son of a... Okay, so the memorable kill on this one, again, is when Jason dies. For me.
Okay.
The when Jason dies. But, so he kills her mother. He kills Bernie Lomax. He kills, and then there's slutty girls, of course.
Yeah.
And people are trying to prank each other at the parties and all that stuff. But none of those I remember. All I remember from this movie is the battle between Tina and Jason.
Right.
And, Jason had a formidable foe.
Yeah.
Literally.
Probably for the first time.
Tommy killed him, but he was kind of a bitch. 2.5.
2.5.
But Tommy's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
She started off as kind of a bitch, but then realized that, I could do this.
Yeah.
And then she started fucking with Jason hardcore. So I thought it was really cool. And it was a really cool concept and something I didn't see coming.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it coming either.
And it was something that, and they never went back to it, which is cool, too.
Yeah.
But they never went back to it.
Well, I think at this point, the game became, how could we make all of these movies different? Mm-hmm. Because we don't want to keep having the same exact movie every single time.
So I think I thought the plot outline was great. Now, the ending, something different. So, do you want to take this one?
No.
Okay.
I'm liking where this is going.
So the ending, I said that. The ending. So there's a big battle, and they've been fighting, and she's been starting him on fire, and crazy shit's been happening.
Yeah.
She's out on the dock, and Jason, I can't remember exactly, but he's out there with her about to kill her or something, and she's using her mind and trying to figure out something. And wouldn't you fucking know it, she summons her dead father from under the fucking dock, who happens to be just as fucking big as Kane Hodder, comes up, grabs motherfucking Jason, takes him down to the depths below, never to be seen again. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
And that's how he dies. So that's memorable for me, because you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, you couldn't have saw that coming.
But you get it right away. Yeah. You do get it. You understand it. It wasn't as confusing as the whole Roy thing.
For sure.
So you get it, you understand it. It thoroughly surprised me when that happened.
Well, I thought that was interesting, but then it leads us into part 8, which is Jason Takes Manhattan. And the budget for this was $5 million. And it
waste of money.
It grossed $14.3 million.
Wow, that's low.
So that's the lowest we've seen so far.
They didn't even triple there. That's like the idea of business. You want to triple what you spent, right? So they didn't do it.
What was memorable for me about this one is all of the 80s hair metal. There was just random chick just wailing away on a fucking neon-colored guitar. And it was probably a BC Rich.
Well, I'm sure it was.
It was just fucking...
Shout out to Alan.
Yeah, shout out to the Godfather of Cold Chamber. And,
I hate this
again, this movie came out in 89. And if you suspend, the franchise and taking it super seriously, it's fun to watch, but it's also the one that I've watched the least because it's so ridiculous. It's almost borderline too ridiculous.
It's not that it's ridiculous too, it's a drag.
It is.
And it's Jason Takes Manhattan. It's an hour-and-a-half movie, and he's in Manhattan for 15 minutes.
Right? Because he's on the boat, the whole cruise movie. Or whatever it is.
I don't even remember how he gets back alive.
I don't either.
I don't even know if they explain that. All I remember is the fucking anchor for the boat going up, and he's standing on it.
Maybe that's how it started. I don't know, because, again, I've probably seen this one the least, because although this is my favorite franchise, I don't know, that one just doesn't hold up with the rest of it.
It's not a good movie. I don't like it. But there is 2 memorable scenes in it for me. Now, when he gets to Manhattan, that last 20 minutes or so of the movie, I think are great.
Yeah, I thought so.
It was awesome. But the boat was just so long, drawn out, ridiculous. Too much side story of the chick trying to blackmail the professor.
The girl in the bottom of the boat just jamming that fucking guitar for no reason.
It's too much. They try too much. Literally, I almost feel, and this shows you, I guess, the power of the other side of this argument. They tried to make it like a Nightmare on Elm Street with like the goofiness, because Freddy got goofy as he went along.
He did.
And this is like goofy.
Yeah, he got goofy. Chucky got goofy.
Yeah,
and when I say goofy, I mean like they would talk shit.
Yeah,
and there would be like
Jason
funny
can't
shit.
talk shit, but it's like weird, stupid shit in this movie, and I don't like it. And it feels like it's a 9-hour fucking movie.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But the memorable scenes, the kill that I love too, that could be tied with the head popping kill. Is on the roof when the jock kid is boxing Jason and beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And Jason just
knocks
punch,
his fucking head
right
off. Yeah.
Great kill.
That was cool.
Fantastic.
Oh my god, that was cool.
Such a cool kill.
Yeah.
And actually, I like how they kill Jason in this movie.
Oh, okay.
He's in the sewers. He's trying to go after the one girl, and he's trying to get out, and the sewage or toxic waste or something comes and burns his soul out.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. It's different.
Yeah, it was different.
And it was memorable. But other than that, I don't even remember another kill.
Yeah, I think those were probably the two that stick out the most. Like
there was a shower kill, of course.
There's always a shower.
but like, I don't remember another kill. And it was just a weird movie, and the dog was missing, and there was like a heroin rape scene.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a weird movie. Like, New York City's not like that. They always, like, I mean, I guess, but it's like, you watch that, you watch anything in the early 90s, the Ninja Turtles movie, you think you're walking in New York City and there's barrels on fire everywhere.
Right.
And like, it's just a weird, and we're not even from New York City. It's not like we're defending it.
No.
It's just like, I don't know, it was a weird time. I can't. Now, this Jason, again, Kane Hodder plays Jason great.
Yes.
And he's just a big menacing force.
Yes, and he does look badass.
He does look bad, especially that head punch.
Yeah.
Now, in the video game, to all my video game nerds, this is my favorite Jason to use, his abilities.
But your least favorite movie.
But my least favorite movie, so I thought, and so what he uses in the video game as his weapon from this movie is the fire axe. Okay. To kill people.
Okay.
So I thought that's pretty cool. But all in all, this movie sucks. I wish it wasn't called Jason Takes Manhattan, because it's not.
It's not. It's
Jason takes a fucking cruise. And that's not even a cruise.
No,
it's a shitty barge that has a dance floor.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
It's weird. It's not.
Well, that kind of brings us to the next one, which is Jason Goes to Hell, which is part 9. And this one has a lot of supernatural, paranormal stuff woven into it, like a lot. Jason's only in this movie like half this movie. So before we even get into it,
20 minutes.
Yeah, right. Before we even get into it, though, this one had a budget of $2.5 million. So you see the budget dropped again, probably because the last few didn't gross as much. This one grossed domestically $15.9 million. So it's up from part 8. And they'd put less into it, so...
Well, they switched studios, too, I believe, on this one. Obviously, because of the ending of this movie.
Yeah.
They were finally...
Oh, they were on New Line.
They were on New Line. So this was on New Line.
Which was very iconic, which we'll get to. But, so this movie, we see Jason at the very beginning. And he basically gets set up. A girl comes in, does every single thing that...
every horror trope. Taking a shower.
Yep. She takes a shower. The lights go off. Yep. She asks, who's there? Right. Hello. Comes out in her towel. Yep. Lights don't work. Shit like that. She's in a cabin in the woods.
She's not very scared.
No.
Right.
She sees
Jason. It makes you think, like, what?
Yeah. Why isn't she freaking out?
This is being really weird.
And why is she alone?
Yep.
Like, the first time I saw this, I was confused.
Yeah.
I was like, this chick is, like, on it. Like, she doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
And, of course, Jason comes. She takes that nasty fucking bump over the fucking banister. But gets up and runs through the woods in a fucking towel. She's got her towel wrapped around her, and she's running through the woods like a fucking parkour ninja. Keeps the towel on.
It was because of the indies, man.
That's right. She was bumping all over. Learned how to keep this towel on while she's running through the woods like a ninja warrior. All of a sudden, they come to a clearing. Boom, big lights. They just light Jason up.
Big lights.
Big lights.
Like 10,000 spotlights. And light Jason up? What do you mean by light Jason up?
A fucking SWAT team just fucking blows him to pieces. Pieces. So...
It's a good way to kill Jason.
Right. Now he's in pieces.
Even though he just melted in the sewer.
Right.
But
he's back.
That's a different...
It's fine.
We're in a different...
It's new line.
Different zone. New line. We're in a new line.
So Jason goes to the morgue. And the mortician or coroner or whatever you want to call him is doing what he's supposed to do. And
corning. He's corning. Real quick. Remember there's like a pizza being delivered, like at that scene in the beginning or something, right? And they talk to two security guards.
Kane Hodder
one of the security guards.
Yeah.
Bit of Jason trivia. So he was unmasked in a movie and I never knew that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
But in that scene... The coroner eats the heart of Jason because of some weird paranormal thing that like takes over his mind. So he eats Jason's heart.
Are you on drugs right now?
Yeah.
Are you making this up?
Yeah, I am. No. So, I swear to God. So, this is how this movie's going to go.
I swear to drunk, I'm not God.
Yes. So, he basically becomes Jason, but still looks like himself.
So Jason inherits his body via heart ingestion. I mean, that's pretty different. It's
Which
pretty
is
smart,
what they were going for.
Right? And then that idea happens a few times throughout this movie.
Yeah.
So there is no Jason, but Jason keeps consuming certain people.
Yes.
But he can only consume certain people for a long time.
He's jumping bodies.
For a while, yes.
Yeah.
So body snatcher.
Yes.
Right?
There was a guy, the dude outside, one of the memorable kills was the guy blowing coke in his car while he was waiting for the diner girl.
The guy that looks like he's 75 and then he's picking up the 20-year-old girl.
And she's flashing herself in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's showtime.
He's got that nice mustache. That guy
Yep. He's blowing coke and gets killed. Like, there's
That's so
memorable
80s, even though this is 92.
This was 93.
93.
Yeah. There's a 4-year hiatus between movies.
But I thought this movie was actually really good.
It was really good.
I thought this was a really good movie in general.
This was another one that got a bad rap at first because of the whole Jason jumping bodies thing. And, you know, he was in a cop at one point.
Concept.
I thought so.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of he needed to find his way back to a member of his family in order to be reborn as Jason.
Right.
So he's going after not only, her name escapes me now, but her child as well. Well, Jessica, right?
One thing I don't remember, you can look it up real quick, but the one thing I always remember certain weird things about this movie, like the girl has her baby in the back of the restaurant while she's working. Like,
in a basket.
Shit,
yeah.
like,
and then there's that dude who was like a Jason hunter, Creighton.
He was awesome.
Yeah, and he played such a creepy, weird role, and he was breaking Steve's fingers
yeah. Steve
for information.
So the girl, final girl, Jessica, we'll say, that's her name now. She has a baby with Steve.
Yeah,
and
she's a Voorhees.
So Jason realizes that. What did he have to do to the baby? Did he have to eat the baby?
They never said because he never ended up doing it.
It was weird. Yeah. Like, he had to get somehow to this baby.
Yes.
And he did get to the baby.
He did, yeah.
Somehow. But obviously, Jason doesn't eat babies.
Right.
Thank God. Thank God Jason doesn't eat. I feel like I'm not doing it justice. I've seen this movie once, okay?
Oh,
only
really?
one time.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I've only seen this movie once, but it made a big impression on me. I really liked it. Yeah. And I really, I remember Steve's fingers getting broken in the movie. And I remember, like the cops just, shooting at each other at some point and some weird shit going on. And, it takes you, 10 minutes to realize what's going on. Once you realize what's going on, it's a fun ride, I think. Yeah. Of a horror movie. It really felt like a horror movie. Yeah. This felt like a horror movie. And then the scene at the end when they're in the house with Book and Jason's trying to eat the baby and
or whatever he's doing.
And somebody is trying to kill Jason with that knife thing.
Yeah.
It was just wild. And it was scary because that Jason, end quote, whoever it was, was just powerful.
I really liked, I think the most memorable parts come with the final battle.
Yes.
So they're in the old Voorhees house.
Now, are they? And he's Jason at this point.
No. Not yet. He's about to be.
Okay.
So was it the cop or no, it was the news guy who wanted to do the story.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Everyone at home is like,
and he stole the body of the mother to put in this house he could discover it on live TV.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So he gets taken over. He becomes Jason.
The movie's all over, but it's smart.
Right. Somebody, I believe it was him, gets his neck chopped off. Like his head falls to the side, and this little creature comes out.
Oh.
And it kind of this wouldn't come out for 20 more years, but it kind of looks like the creatures from Feast for all you horror movie people out there. But this thing is running all over the place, and it goes into the basement. And that's when he asks the Creighton guy, Steve says, does the Voorhees woman to be reborn have to be alive? Because they know the dead mother's in the basement. And that's when Jason comes shooting through the floor for the final fight scene, which is actually a fucking really good fight scene.
Yes, it is.
Kane Hodder still.
Yes.
And Steve are going to blows.
Yeah, that's true.
And the only way to kill him is with this special knife.
Yes.
Of course, Jessica does it. She jumps on his back at the end, plunges it into him, and here's the special effects. Jason lights up, there's a burst of light in the sky, and boom, explosion.
It looks sweet. It looks good.
Yeah, it was cool. And he's gone. Jason dies. And now probably one of the most iconic scenes in any of the Friday the 13th franchise.
In any horror movie.
Yeah.
Right?
The movie's over. The mask is laying in the dirt. Boom. Freddy's hand shoots up from underneath, and you hear the laugh, and he grabs the mask and drags it down underneeth, and they're setting you up for what people were asking for years is a Freddy versus Jason movie.
And it's going to happen in 9 years.
Yeah. And and the hand was Kane Hodder.
Oh, he did that?
He did that.
That's cool.
He actually said when he found out that was the ending that had to be him to do that.
What if Robert Englund wanted to do it?
I don't know if they were going to
I
pay
think-
Robert
I
Englund
think-
to come in for
I
a
think
hand.
Kane Hodder could take it.
Do you think they would pay England for a hand job like that?
I would not take a hand job from Robert Englund. I don't know about you. I would not take a hand job from Robert Englund. No, thank you.
So now...
You better not edit that out.
I'm not.
That's my best joke of all time. You won't even laugh at me, you son of a bitch.
I was just going to blow right past it.
Iconic ending, though. I like that ending a lot. It really stuck with me. And it surprised me. Like, I always knew about Freddy vs. Jason was the movie that, like, well, that and Jason X when we were growing up.
Well,
because we're younger.
So Jason X, since you're talking about it, came out in 2001. So it came out way later. Way later. This Jason Goes to Hell was in 93, did I say?
Yeah.
So 2001, that's 8 years. That's a long space between movies. And still Kane Hodder, which is cool.
I call this movie Spacin'.
Spacin'. I like that.
You like that?
That's what they should have called it.
Space.
This movie had a budget of $14 million.
That's more than, like, Part 8 made. That's literally...
It was what Part 8 made.
Yes, Jesus.
But get this. Domestic
It
gross.
had to gross a lot.
For the box office, $13.12 million.
No, it didn't get a lot.
It was less than what they put
Holy
into
shit.
it. Yeah. Probably because the concept turned a lot of people off. And I'm sure that it made its money back by now. Because you're talking, this is box office.
Yeah.
It's not worldwide.
Yeah.
It's US. Plus, we're talking DVDs, now Blu-rays, collectibles. Like, this thing made its money. But off the jump, the box office made less than what they put into it in the US. But, I mean, this movie...
Stupid.
It was stupid, and it was fun at the same time. They did the throwback to one of the old kills in a virtual reality where they had the sleeping bags and he was beating one girl with the other.
I liked how they tried to confuse him with the virtual reality.
Yes.
That was cool.
Yes. The kill where he freezes the girl's face and then smashes her head off the
desk. That was
desk.
definitely cool.
That's memorable stuff. Even the ending is memorable. So if you look at it that way, this movie's not that bad. If you suspend your disbelief and just have fun with it,
I'm not talking about disbelief. I'm just about to watch the movie. The concept is it's way into the future.
Right.
Jason was frozen.
Right.
Cryogenically frozen.
Right, because the beginning of the movie starts in, modern time, in 2001.
Yeah.
So they catch him, freeze him, and then fast forward, 400 years or 500 years or something like that.
And then okay, so this isn't something to remember. So they freeze him, and like you said, years and years in the future. They go to this distant planet called Earth.
Right.
That's what they say.
Because they're teaching these kids about what Earth used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they find Jason in this facility.
Yeah.
I totally remember this. And this is kind of cool. They unfreeze him, they open the chamber, and he falls out frozen solid because he's holding his machete.
Yes.
And he cuts somebody's arm off.
Yes, the little stoner kid.
I thought that was sweet. That
Yes.
was a cool.
So think about that. We just mentioned like 5 memorable, iconic moments from that. So
Sure.
can't be that bad.
But it's got a lot to live up to with the
Yeah.
series, and that's the problem with that. The movie is all over the place.
It is.
It has the little sex robot thing.
I don't think that's what she was supposed to be.
That's
but
what she
That's
was.
what she became.
She became the sex robot.
when he put her nipples on her for the first time.
Yeah.
She was.
And then he upgrades her.
Yes.
And
yeah.
she's fucking like Fifth Element shit.
Yes.
Like,
And there's that weird, like,
all
fucking
over.
pedophile teacher who's fucking a student.
it's all.
Really, it was
It's
weird.
such a weird. You know what this seemed like? It seemed like a shitty fucking early 2000s space movie that they're like, maybe if we pay a little bit rights, we can put Jason in here.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
and the ending was so, like, this is where it got so far-fetched, is they blow him to pieces. And he falls on this table.
been there, done that.
Right. What do they call it? Nanotechnology?
With the little spiders.
Yeah. Put him back together. Now he's like super
Now
fucking
he's
Jason.
uber Jason.
He's jacked and he's indestructible because he's made of crazy metal.
Bigger than Super Shredder.
Yeah.
This is uber Jason.
Right. And of course, the ending, he gets sucked out of the ship and falls back into a lake on a planet that looks kind of like Earth.
Setting you up for Jason 11.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. This movie, it has memorable parts.
It does. It's got memorable kills.
But overall,
They did the sleeping bag thing again for the second time.
I like when they call the hokiness out when they're doing the VR and they're freaking them out and they're like, "Hey, we're teenagers. We're gonna go whatever,
Smoke pot and have sex. Yeah.
sex."
And
And
they
he's
get
like,
naked.
and he's just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
So I think Kane Hodder makes the movie. He
does.
plays Jason
He does.
great.
Yeah.
I think the sex robot's annoying.
Yeah, that gets a little outplayed. And she survives. Her head does anyway. At the end.
She was good at.
Was she?
sorry.
Was she a final
Moving
girl?
on. Oh, I could have made that joke about Mrs. Voorhees.
You could have.
Oh my god.
Moments passed. We can't go back.
God damn it.
We can, but I'm not.
Can you just like
Nope. not
edit that in? Something?
No.
God damn it.
But now,
Alice was good at.
So we went through the 10, and those were the ones that we were originally just going to talk about, but some people did send us their list with all of them. So let's just briefly talk about, well, Freddy vs. Jason. Everybody begged for it. Everybody was mad that it wasn't Kane Hodder. It was memorable. A lot of people, I liked it, but a lot of people didn't because they were like, oh, it showed Jason having like emotions and like fears. If you're a fan of the franchise, you must be a fucking idiot because he always did. How did Ginny kill him in the first or in the second one?
Right.
Because she pretended to be his mom.
Mm-hmm.
How did Tommy Jarvis kill him in the fourth one? He pretended to be like a smaller version of Jason. Jason has always had those moments of like, oh my God, and like feelings.
Well, wasn't it such a fucked up time? So this was what, 2003, 2004?
I'm going to look at it.
And I'm interested in the box office. I bet you that made some.
I have that one, yeah.
By the way, fantastic soundtrack.
Yes, it was very heavy metal.
Super good soundtrack.
Murder Dolls were on it. It was just...
Killswitch Engage was on it. I remember that.
Yep. So this came out in 2003. So this was 10 years after...
I mean, this is junior year.
Well, this was 10 years after Jason went to hell and Freddy dragged him down.
Yes. So it took 10 years. Wow.
10 years, yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
This had a budget of $25 million.
Easily the highest.
It grossed domestically over $82 million.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
So it's easily the biggest selling Jason.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
But because it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And it still is a big deal.
But even if you like break it down, well, half of that's Freddy. So he did 41. That's still fucking huge.
Yes. To me, I always thought that this was a Nightmare on Elm Street movie with Jason woven in. Because the story is Freddy needs Jason to make the kids scared so Freddy can come back and start terrorizing Elm Street again. Mm-hmm. So to me...
Why does Freddy only want to be on one street?
I think he just has like anxiety.
Can he go to Oak Street?
No, he can't.
What about Sycamore Avenue?
He's got anxiety. Like, I probably, his mom didn't want him to leave home.
No, that was Jason.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't want to spend too much time talking about that.
I'm going to be honest. I can't put too much in it because I haven't seen it yet.
I know, you were telling me.
And the only reason I haven't seen it yet is because I'm still going through the Freddy movies. And I feel like I should watch all those movies first and then watch that.
That's the best way to do it.
So I held off on it. I mean, so obviously I've seen all the Jason. Well, that one I've seen. I'm excited to see it. I want to see it.
Well, let's talk about this then, because this is one you have seen. The reboot. 2009.
Everyone hates it. I get it. Yeah, whatever. Nobody likes anything.
I don't hate the reboot.
No, not at all.
I think it was done very well.
I thought it was done fantastic.
I can't think of his name. I want to say it was Derek Mears. I might have the last name wrong. I'll look it up really quick. But he did a great job of playing Jason. It rolled like the first movies.
Three, I believe.
3, yeah.
Or did he die? Did he die at the end of the remake?
Well, Jason dies at the end of everything.
That's true. So maybe the first 4 if he died. But definitely the first 3. You see, they remake the head chop off.
Yes.
Which was great. They kind of make the guy out to be Rob.
Yes.
He's killing people. So
it is Derek Mears, by the way.
Okay, so it definitely goes through all the tropes of the first 3, at least, movies.
Yeah, and you get
and it's like long. It's like 2 hours.
The main guy, Clay, is the main character in Supernatural, so that was cool. But
are you a 20-year-old girl?
I like Supernatural. But this movie, the reboot had a budget of $19 million, and it grossed $65 million.
That's a lot.
So
it's way more than I thought.
If you think about it, it couldn't have been that bad for people.
Well, from what I hear from people, they hate this movie. They really hate the Freddy remake.
The Freddy remake was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen.
I've never seen that one yet either.
It's terrible.
I liked this. We'll stick on this thing. I liked this one. I thought it was good, and I watched all the originals first. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's better by any means.
No, it's not.
But literally, you can skip almost 3 movies and watch this.
Watch this one, yeah.
And it had a lot of cool scenes,
yes,
with the dilapidated houses. It's fine, and Jason's under the floorboards.
Yep.
And she's in that underground bunker, and that's how he finds her. And you're rooting for people,
and
too.
you can't wait for that asshole blonde kid to get killed because he's such a fucking prick.
He's a fucking
I saw this movie in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember it actually came out around Valentine's Day because I remember that specifically.
Smart.
Yeah. But really, I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. I rewatched it 3 months ago, maybe, for the first time since theaters. So whatever 11 years.
Yeah.
But I still liked it.
Yeah, I like this movie.
I thought they did a good job. I mean, it's not a bad movie.
I mean, anything you remake nowadays, people are going to shit on.
Yeah.
It's not better than the original. Who's trying to be better than the original?
Right.
No sequel is trying to be better than the original.
Yeah.
They're just trying to continue the story. That's like every band releasing only one album.
Yeah. Or, I mean, even this, if you're going to think of it that way, how many bands remaster?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like,
and they're doing it with the video games now. They're remaking the video games. So, like, you're going to sit here and tell me that Resident Evil 2 from 1998 on the Nintendo 64 with the blockiest graphics ever is better than the one they just made last year?
Right.
You're wrong.
Right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But do I think it's better than any of the original 10? Maybe
Yes.
Manhattan.
It's better than a few of the original
maybe than
10.
X.
Honestly, I didn't rank it, but it would be in the like. I like it.
I like it too. I didn't rank it either because we were just going to do the 10.
I like that one. I definitely recommend it.
I think I would put it in front of maybe 3 of the original ones. Maybe.
You know what? I would, 3, maybe 4. But honestly, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, let's do our rankings because not only do we have ours, so that's 2 there, we have 4, 5, 6 other ones that got sent in, and I'll announce who they are as we go through them. But let's do ours first. And I'm curious to see how many of the top ones are the same. That's
across the board.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious to see. They don't have to be exactly the same, but I'm just curious to see how many of them are like, oh wow, these few rank high for everyone.
So we'll do Mike Burns and we'll do all these other people, and then we'll do ours because ours matter.
You want to do theirs first?
Yeah, we'll get
okay, so
we already wrote it down. No one's gonna sway our opinion.
Well, let's give our shout outs then while we're doing this. So
just rank them off quickly, and then we'll talk more when we do ours.
So we're going to start with Mike Burns because we've been talking about him a lot because he was participating in the
infamous Mike.
Infamous. He's been talking to us about everything, and he's another person who ranked all 12. He went with, now this is going to go from worst to best.
Worst to best.
Worst to
on
best.
All of these.
On all of these.
Okay.
Jason Takes Manhattan is his worst.
He's smart.
The 2009 reboot, Part 3D, Freddy vs. Jason, Jason X, Part 1, The New Blood, Jason Goes to Hell, and then here's his top 4. Jason Lives, 4, The Final Chapter, 5, New Beginning, and his very first is Part 2.
5 is so high. Ugh.
So, just throwing that out there. So, I thought that was cool. That's not a bad list. Of course, Manhattan is, So now we're going to go with Darcy Burns. And,
Are they related?
I think they might be.
Okay.
Yeah, they might. Darcy also did all 12. And she wanted it known that she loves this franchise more than anything, and she loves all of the movies, but she absolutely hates the reboot.
We get it.
So, number 12 is the reboot.
Okay.
And then Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and then she goes with New Beginning, Jason Takes Manhattan, Part 3D, then The New Blood, and then Part 1. And her top 4 are Freddy vs. Jason, Final Chapter, Jason Lives, and her number 1 is also Part 2. So
they must be related.
Next person we're going to read off was Rayen Belchere, as you guys know.
Stop bringing him up.
I know that you guys have a feud. I don't think he's aware of the feud.
I don't even think he knows I exist. But it's... Why? Oh.
So, singer-songwriter Rayen also played with Wednesday 13 and in Bourbon Crow with Wednesday 13. He ranked number 10, Jason X, as being the worst. And then Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell, The New Blood, Part 1, Part 5, Part 2, and then the final chapter, Friday the 13th 3D, and then Jason Lives as his number 1. One pattern I'm seeing is Jason Lives seems to be ranking high for everybody. So, CJ Graham, good for you.
I was going to say, give numbers out too, number 6. Like, that's just...
Yeah.
Just so everybody's aware, because the taglines, I don't think everyone's going to remember.
True. So then we have Rob Sweet, not from Striper. And
He'll be on next week's?
He'll be on next week's. He also ranked the 10. So he ranked worst to best, worst being number 5, which was
Good man.
New Beginning. Then Jason Goes to Hell, number 9. 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 7, The New Blood. Part 2, number 2. Friday the 13th, Part 3D. And then Part 1. And then he's got Jason X, Jason Lives, Part 6, and Jason 4, the final chapter. So 4 and 6 are ranking high for everybody. And
was Jason X in his top 3?
It was.
Stick to your day job playing drums in Striper.
This is wrestler Rob Sweet. Not the
he can beat me up.
Yeah, right.
Damn it.
All right, so the next 2 people we're going to do are Micah and Will, and they're also wrestlers, but they also have Damn That Scary podcast, which is a great podcast. So guys, subscribe to it and rate it. It's really good. They just talk everything horror, and they break down a different movie every week. And they're a new podcast, so they need your love right now, but they're gaining steam fast.
Good name.
It is a good name.
Like that name?
Yeah. Damn. That's scary. So...
Damn, I'm pretty.
Oh, wait. Will wanted me to swap his 6 and 7. So
once he writes it, it's done. You're breaking the rules.
I got it. So he ranks the worst being Jason Goes to Hell, Part 9.
Get out.
And then Jason Takes Manhattan, Part 8. And then Jason X. And then Part 5, A New Beginning. And then Part 4, The Final Chapter. Part 1. And now his top 4 are number 7, The New Blood. Part 2, Jason Lives, Part 6. And his very first one was Part 3D. Again, Part 6 is always in everybody's top. Yeah. Always. Micah, he ranks worst to best. He did all 12. Jason Goes to Hell is the worst. Jason Takes Manhattan next. Then the 2009 reboot. Number 7, The New Blood. Number 6, Jason Lives. Part 3D. Part 1, Freddy vs. Jason. And then his top 4, Jason X. Part 4, The Final Chapter. Part 2, and his number 1 was A New Beginning. So this is when I said we were going to talk about this one again when I did Micah's list, because he made a very valid point when he gave this to me. This, he thinks, is the best slasher ever.
The franchise.
No, in general.
Part
5. Because Part 5, he said if it was named anything else, everybody would love it. But because it was called Friday the 13th and it wasn't actually Jason, it gets a bad rap. But the kills were very bloody.
Sure.
It was a raunchy movie, and a lot of it was very memorable and stood out. And it was really the first time a Jason movie was that bloody, disgusting, raunchy. And, like, if it was called, you know, Cottage Killer or, like, something crazy.
But it wouldn't have made nearly as much money either.
Maybe not off of that, but I get what he's saying, though.
Right.
Because
I mean, I see that.
I do think that this is a good movie.
You know what I never talked about that movie in particular? Was The Neighbors.
Oh, the mom and the son?
The mom and the son. They were great.
That was memorable, too?
The son was like Cousin Eddie.
Yeah. Yes, exactly what
like,
it was.
It was cool.
That's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got his head chopped off while he's riding the motorcycle, and she got her, you know, stuffed in the soup.
Stuffed in the soup. Boiled alive, basically.
Yes, yeah.
So, the kills for them were cool. I just forgot to bring them up. I liked those characters. Still just a rough movie.
I had a hard time ranking these because I do like so many of them a lot, because this
There's
is my
a lot of
favorite.
crosses on my paper.
Why don't you give me your bottom 3?
So we're starting at the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so the bottom 3. So I said 7 are I love, 2 are meh, 1 blows. The blow one is Part 8. Okay. Jason Takes Manhattan. Mm-hmm. I just hate it. It just sucks.
Gotcha.
And the 2 that are meh are Part 10, Spacin'. Like you said, and I never changed this ranking. I mean, there's some memorable things in there.
Yeah.
Stuff. So I did have it always above 8. And then Part 5 I had down there because it just never stuck with me. But it's meh.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I hate it, but it's meh.
Yeah, I totally swapped my bottom 2 by accident, but I'm going to read them the way that I have them in my mind. So my worst is Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I was typing these out so weird. Anyways, so that's going to be my worst. But
I mean, we're in agreement on that, so it's official.
Yeah, it's official. And then I'm going to say Jason X, which I actually did like. So honestly, from here on, I like them all.
And we're there, same there. So I mean, it's official.
Number 8, I put Part 7, The New Blood. Oh. So those are my bottom 3. Are Jason Takes Manhattan, Spacin', and The New Blood.
You're taking Spacin'.
I'm taking it, yeah. So why don't you give me your next 3?
All right, well, from here on, I love them all. So it was really hard to choose. The next one, I put chapter 3. Volume 3. Whatever it is.
Part 3D.
Part 3. Part 3. Love the movie, but out of all of them, like, that's probably at the end of it. It's just not... And Shelley kills it for me.
Gotcha.
Shelley annoys the fuck out of me.
Gotcha.
And then, I mean, like I said, as much as I put it over Part 9...
Okay.
I got right there, love it to death.
That was your number 6?
That was my number 6. Okay. And then my number 5 is Part 2.
This is kind of funny because we have 2 similar here. So my number 7 was A New Beginning, Part 5. And then my 6 and 5 are the same as yours. Are Jason Goes to Hell and Part 2.
Yeah. I think that's right where they belong.
Yeah.
As much as I like 9, I still might even like 9 better than 2, but, 2 is iconic.
It's weird, too, because I could rewatch all of these in the next month and change my mind. Because I do like so many of them for different reasons. But why don't you give me your finals?
So we're in the top 5 now, right?
We're in the top 4
now.
Yep.
Well, my 4 and 3 are... It's hard to say, but just because Tommy Jarvis made this all happen, we got to put Part 6 there because he ruined everybody's life forever by bringing him back to life. But I like Part 6 a lot. It was such a fun. And then the original was my third. And those could swap, but even though the original isn't as... wild. It's a good movie.
It really is. We have that in the same place because I did not. My number 4 is Part 3D. That just holds a special place for me because it was the first one I ever owned. And it was when he put the mask on for the first time. And for that alone, I ranked it higher. Shelley, yes. Shelley. But my number 3 is the first one.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great where it belongs, and that's great. We are actually pretty similar in some of these.
We do.
I'm surprised.
So what's your top two?
My top two is, number 2 is part 7. I really love the battle with him and Tina. It's just such an interesting concept in a good movie.
Do we have the same first
number 1 is part 4?
Yes, we do. So my number 2 was part 6, Jason Lives, and my number 1 was part 4, The Final Chapter.
The Final Chapter is the best one.
So just judging from what we've said and judging from the list, by the way, guys, thank you for sending this list.
Yes, thank you very much.
Everybody seems to think 6 and 4 belong in the top at least 4. So that was huge. But I liked seeing like Mike Burns and Micah ranked A New Beginning really high, which was really cool. Will liked 3D, which I thought was cool because it's iconic, you know.
And it's cool to get all these different opinions.
Right, exactly. He also put number 7 in his top 4. Also, too, I mean, like Rob Sweet put Jason X in his top 3. Like some of these are really cool, but they all have 4 and 6. All of them.
Yeah, and that's easy, but I think 4 is the best. So it's hard. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember after watching 4, like, I was hyped. Like, I was such a good ending and just a wild ride.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun.
Well, we did it. And it took us a while, but we did it.
Well, we undertook a big thing here. And hopefully I can come back at some point and rank the Freddy movies after I finish them.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're supposed to be watching them with me. How many have we watched together?
1.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I've seen them all a million times, but I'm always down for the rewatch. But
popcorn night.
Also, guys, while we're talking about Friday the 13th, here's a little thing for you. We are going to have
put your zipper back up. Sorry.
We are going to have an actress from one of the Friday the 13th movies on the show to do an interview. Well, no, it won't be Shelley. So I won't spoil it for you on this episode, but be on the lookout for that, and we'll have her on, and that'll be fun too. And it'll be another Halloween spooky season episode, so that'll be really cool. And we have one other horror movie actor that I think you guys will like that I'll keep under my hat until it comes out. So,
Vincent Price.
Yes, I hang out with the ghost of Vincent Price.
I heard you put like a metal stake in his heart in a thunderstorm.
Yeah, he's in the basement right now. Cool, man. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, man,
that was fun. So we will see you guys next time. And I mean, you just heard, we just read off participation from anybody who wanted to participate. Yeah. So get at us. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, ABAO Pod. And we'll see you next time.
And I think they got to remember, no pot smoking. No premarital sex. If you guys want to live like me and Robbie have.
Pure.
And you won't die by the hands of Kane Hodder.
Why do you think we're still here?
Yes.
We met CJ Graham. We're still here.
We're alive. Even though he had a son, we still made it.
I just told him he was adopted.
Oh,
I had to lie.
Got it.
He was like, "Is this what I think it is?" And I was like, "Sir. Sir.
Put down the spike. Put down the spike."
So, see you next time on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.